At first, I thought this league was going to be a 9 out of 10, and Kaizer made fun of me. 9 out of 10, Rutu? 9 out of 10, Rutu? Little O, big O. Little O, big O. After playing the whole league, as a review, I still think that like this league was probably like an 8 out of 10 for me. I had a lot of fun. Anyways, I'm gonna do my review right now. I feel like I should cover a lot of things, man. So I think one of the biggest major issues in this game, like we saw Kriparian's video yesterday, right? One of the major issues in the game right now is balance. But no one really no one really talks about what the core balance issues in the game are. And I want to like kind of break it down from my understanding of where the issues are currently in the game. So first of all, PoE 2 has a dramatic balance issue with items. Items in PoE 2 are inherently more powerful than items in PoE 1. The skills have a bigger modifier on the items themselves, giving even a bigger multiplier than the original game, while reducing power from Ascendancy and the tree, and removing layers of multiplication off the table, basically off the table, like attack speed, creates this huge vacuum of just like item power, right? In the game, there's this big problem of just pure items. If you don't notice in the game is rather hard at the start, right? It's rather hard. When you have nothing in the game, when you have blue items in the game, everything is a slog. White monsters take 4 hits to kill sometimes at the start. Depending on skill, bosses take forever, right? As soon as you get an item, it's just like, wow, well, I got lucky now, and now everyone dies in 1 hit. That's because the itemization in this game is really messed up. I'll give you an example of how messed up it currently is, right? At different gear levels. Okay, let's say you have a level 30 character, right? Let's just say you're a level 36 character or 35 character, whatever. The level 36 is Act 3, right? Let's say you're playing a two-handed mace, right? In Act 3, right? The difference between someone that has a good weapon in Act 3, which is probably, you know, a Great Hammer, right? A leaden Great Hammer that he just upgraded to, or a Temple Maul, right? Versus someone who's stuck on, you know, a level 16, like, Great Club or something, right? First, a level 16 Great Club, let's say you just got a blue one, right? And you like, this is like from a vendor or whatever right now, and you have like 1 iron rune because it's, you didn't get lucky, is about 100 flat in the game, right? The difference between a well-rolled leaden Great Hammer that you just got, because this is level 33, is about 3x damage from like just like a vendor weapon that you got in Act 2, right? It's really like 3x damage, right? From like if you just pick up like a well-rolled like freaking weapon that you got on 33, or you just did not find one and you can't find one off the vendor, like whatever you do just doesn't work, and you're stuck with your level 16 hammer with 60 flat increased damage. Because this happens, this also happens, is 3x damage in flat, and that gets multiplied by your skills, right? So we have like this big discrepancy, and this is not even like the most powerful thing that you can roll, right? Like you can actually roll like, you know, +3 melee gems. You can roll attack speed on your weapon, right? Which is even more damage, right? So there's a lot of things you can roll, and the difference in items between someone who's got lucky or someone who's extremely unlucky is humongous, right? And they're never really gonna solve this issue except with more drops, right? In 0.2, this problem was humongous. It's a little bit less so in this game, in this patch, because there's more drops, and it's like a little bit better. Even if you got, you know, an upgrade at like level 28, right, and you just got a normal vendor weapon, right, with this, the difference is still freaking like double of like what you would normally get, right? So 2x damage, kind of a lot, right? Depending on like how you roll your items. The biggest difference is a lot of people don't really understand the basics of the game. And then now you have someone who's found a 300 DPS hammer in Act 3, and their skill tree is optimized where they have enough increased damage on their tree to basically make use of this weapon versus someone who really doesn't understand the game, right? And they're going on this. I'm sure you've seen people whose trees are like this, but you've also seen people with trees that look like this. Both of these people exist, right? And the difference between the correct tree and this tree is going to multiply the difference between power on the character by a lot, right? This is like the basics and fundamentals of the game that even a lot of people don't understand. Even streamers, right? They don't understand. Like, I've seen streamers have the most god-awful trees at the start of like leagues, and they just don't work. Anyways, enough about that. I'm not gonna shit talk anyone, but like this is like the fundamental difference in the game, right? Now, as you can go, the difference between this like 3x, 4x difference that you have at just Act 3 becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as the items go. Like they're like huge, right? And this is like comparative to the monsters itself, right? Let's say for an example, in Act 3, you kill a monkey. I don't know how much life a monkey has. The skill balance and the itemization is so off that you have builds that can basically one-shot the monkey, and you have builds that take forever on him. The source of this problem, I feel like, is, number one, you don't get enough base damage from your tree, right? And too much of your power in your character is all on items. Whether it's flat damage on your rings, flat damage on your weapon, skill levels on your weapon, skill levels on your amulet, skill levels on whatever stuff that you found is such a big multiplier on your character, and your base amount of your base multiplier on your character is so small, it leads to like these huge like issues where people go, wow, that guy one-shots this guy, my guy does nothing, right? And that needs to get fixed like immediately. I don't understand how it's taken this long for them to see this problem in this game. And to be fair, like even one-on-one base, the items in PoE 2 are already more powerful than PoE 1. They're already more powerful. Imagine in PoE 1 if you had a sword, and the sword had a suffix that had, you know, +6 levels on it, or +7 levels on it as a suffix, right? That you can pretty easily get in today's PoE. You'd be like 7.5% per level. That's huge multipliers, right? Then the items are itself already inherently more powerful, and now combined with a lesser powerful tree, lesser power from ascendancies, lesser power from multipliers itself, aka attack speed, it creates this like imbalance in the game that's just like really, really hard to solve. It's honestly really, really hard to solve for them. Okay, these are the main points I'm trying to make, right? I'll format it later, right? So that combines into like this huge power vacuum. And for 3 leagues now, I beg of them, for 3 leagues, all they've been doing is not looking at the source of the problem, which is this, and they've been trying to gut skills one by one right now. Like basically, you guys have your tire has a hole in it, and you're adding air into the tire. That's all you've been doing for 3 leagues. I don't understand how you guys have been doing this for a year and not realize this huge problem that you have. And you're fucking band-aiding a problem that you can't band-aid. Because think about how many times you've nerfed skills, and think of how many bosses get one shot in your game right now, league after league. Last league, after 1 week, 50 builds, one shot at your bosses. This league, same shit. It is just over and over the same problem. And the core issue is this, and not the skills themselves, right? So this is not a rant. This is inherently knowledge that people should have in the game, but I don't know why they don't have this. This is not a rant. So no matter what they do in the future, they have to look at this core issue first and either buff the ascendancies, buff the tree, keep some of the multipliers on the tree, like make the multipliers on the tree better, like attack speed. I know why they don't want attack speed, right? I understand that, right? I don't understand why every node is like 3 attack speed. Because they want visceral combat, and they want you to be slow, and they want you to go, oh, while the boss hits you. I understand. And the faster you attack, the more times you get to dodge, and then the game becomes like too easy in their eyes, and it's not visceral combat anymore, and the whole like flow of the game is off. I understand why they do that. But In doing so, they've already removed one axis of scaling from the tree that is otherwise in the previous version of the game. Even in a ranger area, by the time you are level 30, you have access to the 2 starting nodes, 1 node, and this as a ranger. Like, you ain't getting to these nodes at level 30, right? It's so low on the tree that it might as well not be on a tree. And warriors have even worse. They not only do they not have access to attack speed, they have access to negative attack speed at level 30, making the game feel massively just shit when you play it. But you know how you can get attack speed? Through itemization, right? Items give you attack speed. And then it's just like all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, the game feels a little bit better because I got attack speed now. Anyways, that's besides the whole point, right? So I feel like itemization needs to sort of change, or the skill tree need to really be brought up with the items, and the skills themselves need to be nerfed so they can create a better balance so they can actually go forward with the game. Anyways, number 2 thing in itemization that I want to talk about. I feel like when they first started PoE 2, they wanted to make ruthless. They wanted no items. They wanted you to pick up blues on the ground, and that's all they wanted, right? They just wanted fucking blues, and everyone's using blues, and the game is so much fun when items are scarce. That is not fun. And whoever wanted that version of the game, like, I'm so sorry. Like, that's bad, right? That is no fun at all. We're not 12 years old playing freaking Diablo 1 and thinking like that version of the game was fun. We're like all grown now, and RPGs have progressed so far. Players can't just pick up blues on the ground anymore and be like, that's fun. And I feel like when they designed the game, they wanted that version of the game. So all the uniques that were made in the game are kind of shit. If you go on PoE right now and you go through the list of uniques in the game right now, oh my god, are they even usable? Like, who uses these items, right? And then let me give you an example of the item discrepancy right now in the game. This is currently a makeable rare in PoE 2. I'm gonna put Mace Strike on my bar. This item is currently 300% more damage on a character. And then you have uniques that look like this. Inflict cold exposure on an enemy. 8 intelligence. 15 freaking cold resistance. 5 to 10 attack speed. Pulling strike. In the, like, the power magnitude of uniques in the game versus a rare is basically Jeff Bezos versus a chatter. Right? It's so lopsided. And why make items in the game when they're fucking useless? And right now, like 90% of PoE 2 uniques are worth nothing. Bro, you wouldn't pick Jeff Bezos' ass, bro. Jeff Bezos has so much money, he can pay your mom to hurt you. Your mom, your own mother, would hurt you for the amount of money that he can give her. Okay? Like, you won't even get to him. Your mom would be standing in the way, kicking you in the nuts. Okay, anyways, items are so powerful in the game right now that it not only gives characters so much power, it makes a whole set of uniques entirely useless. Here's how bad the scaling in this game is. A single pair of gloves right now in the game has 66 attack speed. Like, how the fuck are you gonna beat that? To get 66 attack speed on your tree, you need like 60 points. Do you not see the problem here that we have in this game? You need 60 fucking points, like half of your character's levels, to get to that amount of attack speed. That's how effed it is, right? In terms of like tree power to item power. And we're not talking about the whole glove. We're only talking about the sockets and 2 suffixes. You're talking about sockets and 2 suffixes being worth more than half of your character's skill tree. How are you ever going to create balance in the game when the game is like this? How are the poors ever supposed to have the build? They're always going to have shit builds, right? Because unless if you just make crafting more accessible, right? Which it is this league. But if they nerf crafting, only like a few people are going to have these things, right? And then the pros are just going to be stuck with nothing. That's bad balance, right? I do feel like uniques are very, very limited in PoE 2. They were designed for, I feel like they were designed for a different game. And like the T0s are like okay, but they were honestly designed for like a different game. And they need to be like updated like ASAP, right? Because they're honestly just bad. Viper Cap being one of the uniques that is just way too good for the game. Oh, that brings up to my next point of emphasis. Since we brought a Viper Cap, mana. Oh my God, do we really need mana? I feel like they need to really look at mana costs again because mana costs are still really, really terrible. From the start, if you don't get a good item and you're not playing a build that is quote unquote overpowered / meta, you could run out of mana on bosses because you just don't do enough damage. Because the skills take too much fucking mana and you just straight up run out. And you guys know what I'm talking about at League Star. Guys, I am out of mana flask. That's it. There's no more left. Janara man is sitting comfortably at fucking 75, fucking 80% life, and I'm out of. It's like, it happens quite often in today's PoE 2. So I don't know if it's meant to be like that, but that's horrible, right? Even if you dodge every attack that the boss throws at you, you still don't have enough mana to kill the boss because your multipliers are not there. And that like makes these problems be like, it multiplies these problems like and puts them and just shoves them in your face. Be like, oh, well, if I don't have enough mana to kill the boss, that means I'm not doing enough damage. And I'm not doing enough damage because if my skill tree is optimal, that means I just didn't get an item. I didn't RNG enough items for my build. And that's just like, well, that feels terrible, right? You're playing wrong. You should be playing bow shot. I feel like mana needs to be like reworked. That's how I truly feel. Bro, I was playing a monk build yesterday. I was playing glacial, whatever. Man, like 4 glacials, you're out of mana. And you're like skills can't cost that much, right? There's no reason skills should cost that much. And you can't even really solve it in PoE 2. You can't really even solve it in PoE 2, not at League Start. There's nothing to solve, because what are you gonna do? RNG mana plus mana on gear? And that doesn't even do anything, because you still run out of mana. Maybe they need to buff mana potions? Maybe? And maybe they need to reduce mana skills altogether by a huge margin, but it's not good. At the end game, it's not fun. At the start, it's not very fun. It's just not very good all the way around. It's just poor design IMO right now in the game. Yeah, but think about when you can activate Mana Leech in PoE 2. Number one, you have to get far enough into the campaign where you actually do enough damage. Then you need to get Mana Leech gear, and then you need to be next to the Keystone. That's like if you're born in the ghetto, you need to like somehow escape the drug dealing world, and then you need to skip getting freaking stabbed or a drive-by shooting, and then you need to be smart enough to get a tuition to college before like you can actually like play life, right? And it's just like, it's so many things stacked against you. Unless if you're a LeBron, you ain't making it out the hood. And that's what PoE 2 sort of is in terms of mana, right? So you might as well just do crime. I'm not asking for it to be removed, but it really needs to be nerfed. Like, mana costs really need to be nerfed, like, to a dramatic amount. Do you think having an extra flask to press every, like, 4 attacks feels good in the game? I don't feel like that's really fun. I'm gonna be honest. You're already pressing, like, your combo, and it's just like, man, why am I freaking pressing another mana flask? Here's my issue with mana. And it actually ties into with another issue. All they're doing with mana at the start of every league is making you press an extra button every 4 attacks. RSI is already a huge problem in PoE 2. I heard Crip talk about like, oh, I can't play for a long time because I need to save my hands from exploding, or I don't know what he said, but that's basically what he said. And you know, all of us older gamers, right? We can't be pressing like 9,000 keys every like second just for the sake of pressing the keys, right? There's no point in them. It's like almost as stupid as just freaking like spamming chaos orbs in PoE 1 and putting like a million chaos orbs, right? All you're doing is breaking fingers and breaking hands where it's not needed, right? And this might not affect everyone, but it affects a lot of people, right? It does affect a lot of people. Let us automate flasks like PoE 1? You think Jonathan is gonna give you instilling orbs used when full mana pot or used on low mana pot? Yeah, think again, buddy. What's next? Them vacuuming up all your breach splinters and putting them in your inventory? Think again, buddy. He gave us async trade, but here's the thing. Why create another problem to solve just for the sake of creating the problem? Do you realize they've created so many problems that they needed to solve themselves in this game? Think of it like this. In PoE 2, they decided to remove life from their tree. 3 legs later, they had to add a defensive layer for both the life things when they could have just put life on the tree to begin with. Now instead of life on your tree, you have to get fucking an armored extra defensive layer for armor, and now you have an extra defensive layer for freaking evasion. It's like your design decisions have made you put in extra work for no apparent reason. Well, what's the argument for this? I don't even know what the argument for this now. I guess if you put life on tree, it would make physical mitigation for warriors like a joke, and it would destroy every other class. That's kind of true. I don't know, man. 3K life versus 15K ES is a little bit unfair in my. Well, we're gonna talk about that in a second with the defensive balance issues. Oh shit, yeah. No. I heard from a lead dev in PoE that on-death effects were lame. They're bad design. Someone said this to me. I don't know. Someone said in a bad video, what the fuck is happening with this game? Bro, who said that in a video? That on-death designs or on-death effects were bad design? I think Mark said it. I don't remember. But holy man. Okay, if we're gonna make on-death effects in the future, can we at least make them more apparent and not like a little green circle on green? Like, you can't have little green circles like they're like small, man. They're like the size of this bee on your screen. I'm not even kidding. This is what it looks like. This is what basically like it looks like to us. It looks like that to us. We literally have to like while we're fighting, it's like we have to be like, is that a no? Is that a no? And then you walk through, and then it's like, pow, half your life is gone. Is that not a good point? Skill effects in this game are great. They look great when you start playing. Wow, my comet looks great. But when you drop 30 comets on the ground, holy shit, your eyes are like, grenade? Flash grenade, man? I'm being honest right now. I would pay $30 for an MTX that deleted skill effects from the game. I'm being honest right now. That's how bad it is. And like, some of the skills like actually blow up my eyeballs. Like really, really bad. And they need to fix this issue too, because this is an ongoing issue with the game. They lag too. Well, that's another issue. We're going down to next issue, which is this league's performance. I can't even describe this league's performance. My computer, which is like a year or like something old, it has a 4090, struggles to play PoE 2. We can't, like, you can't have this. NASA doesn't ship out computers for us to use. I don't think there's not anything I need to say about this. Holy shit. It was, there's like too much stuff on your screen and the game looks great, but it comes at a cost, right? We'll talk about another point in the game right now that I feel like is a talking point. PoE 2, I feel like the way Jonathan wants the game to be is only fun if there's balance in the game. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen a boss mechanic in a while. Maybe one. And the only way I get to see these things is if you tell me to just play a worse build, just play a shittier build. And like, even for my league starter, I don't see them, right? I just go in, I just freaking kill them. So right now, like the balance issue is so bad in the game that they have to make a decision, right? And this is like me, maybe this is a little rant, but how do you make this decision right now? Because right now you have two players, right? I'm gonna call this player Kaizer P, and then we have another player, John69, right? Kaizer P has completed the whole game in a week, and he's bored of the game because the game is too easy, and John69 is still stuck in campaign for like 5. There's like 2 different players, right, on 2 different skill gaps in the game right now. So how do you tune the game right now? Do you tune the game for John69 so they can enjoy the game? Or do you tune the game for Kaizer P? Because how do you tune this game? How do you balance this game? Because if you balance the game for Kaizer P, John69 can't play the game. He's not good enough. But if you balance the game for John69, Kaizer P is going to one-shot every single boss. So I don't know how they're going to balance the game, right? Like, this is just me wondering because... All right, defensive balance issues. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, let me start from energy shield. All right, let's just delete energy shield from the game and then start over because it's fucked up. How the fuck do we have 3k life ranger builds and they have 30,000 energy shield builds? Like, how is this reality? And they don't take chaos damage. And there's chaos damage everywhere in the game. Okay. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Energy shield is bad. It's just bad. It's there's so much of it, right? And if you pull up like a really tanky warrior build right now in the game on PoE and an energy shield build, it's actually like low W, man. It's actually low W. I don't even know like how to describe it. Like having energy shield in PoE 2 is like having PoE 1 build, except you have none of the life modifiers that make life playable and no increased life. It's like so fucked up. It's actually so fucked up. I don't even know like where to begin talking about energy shield. Is an armor plus lucky deflection very tanky? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna talk about evasion. Evasion. Deflect equals joke. Deflection is a joke in its current form. I don't care what anyone says. I think the only way that you use deflection in the current game right now, if you have an optimized build, is if you have it on like 1 or 2 pieces of gear, and that's it. The formula for deflection is such a joke, and you can't get to 100%, so it's like having evasion on top of evasion, which is just like, every single time you get a hit, it's like, let me roll a dice to see if I die. I think deflect right now, mathematically, is worse than blind in the game. I'm not even joking. It's mathematically just worse than blind, point for point on your tree. Except deflect works on more parts of damage in the game because there's too much on-death effects in the game where on-death effects can't be blinded. I don't think anyone who makes a decent build should even incorporate this into their build unless if it's just like, maybe like 1 or 2 mods on their gear. If they take any points on their tree, you're just basically just wasting your character. And it's honestly just, the formula is the joke. I think what deflect should be is a formula that lets you build up damage reduction, capping out at 40 but never reaching. So it should always be 100% chance to deflect, but when you have low deflection rate, it gives you, it's like 3% reduced damage. And it lets you build up higher as you go. And that's what deflect kind of should be, but it's not. We cannot have RNG on the top of RNG to die in this game. It's not good. Number 2, evasion on Ranger is fucked up right now. If you don't understand how bad evasion on Ranger is at the start of every league, here's a character. I'm gonna set this character to level like, I don't know, 75, right? And I'm gonna put plus 1,000 to evasion. Like when you get into maps right now, like this is how much evasion you have, and you're pretty much just like a 2,000 life character with like nothing, basically. It doesn't do shit. It honestly just doesn't do shit as a defensive layer. Like you can't get enough of it in the campaign to make it matter. Your base evasion is almost non-existent And it's like you're just it might as well not be a thing until you get gear, right? Too much of this game's defenses is freaking gear dependent. It's crazy, right? We're back to this again. Items are too powerful in the game, right? Without these like evasion items, you honestly just have nothing. Because in PoE 1, you at least had a base that you can go off of called Grace, right? Which gave you a flat amount of evasion that you can build off of even on your tree so you can get enough to make it to your gear. In this game, you don't have that. And you also had Jade Flask, right? To make you build up to enough evasion so you can actually get on your gear before you can take off. You have none of that stuff in PoE 2. All you is like, if you don't have the gear, take the finger. That's what PoE 2 is. And don't get me started on what the fuck is this?
Ooh, you're so popular.
What the fuck is that? I don't know if you know what 16 evasion does to the game right now. They should be like 1 evasion per level or something, or like 2 evasion per level, or like 5 evasion per level. I don't know what that should be, but it needs to be something, right? There needs to be a fixed flat amount of evasion so your characters can build your character off of it at the start without it feeling like whatever. And to be fair, even if you give the players 2,000 evasion, at level 70, the game is still going to feel really, 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 really bad when you get to maps on evasion characters. It's just it is just the way it is. The new evasion formula is just like, I guess we'll cover this in armor too. Evasion is way too good at the high end. It's way too shitty in the low end. And I'll give you an example of what evasion currently is in the high end. When you have 40,000 evasion in the game and you take this, and you get 5 jewels, you take 1 out of 11 AoE or attack hits with 40,000 evasion and freaking blind on your tree. You know how insane this is? This is not even like, you can technically get even more blind than this because you have blind on like your support gem. Imagine taking 8 of every 92, or 8 out of every 100 hits. It's like very fucked up of a formula right now, right? Like whatever they use as the evasion formula, it is generally fucked up right now. And they need to really think about this because shit, you can get this with like 60,000 evasion. You can take 5 out of every 100 AoE hits. And you're just basically walking around going, and not giving a fuck about everything, right? It's too powerful, just like the armor mod. It's too powerful at the end game, and because with the armor mod, you no longer you stack enough of it. You just don't take freaking like elemental damage anymore. And at the start, it's basically just complete trash, and it makes this huge like discrepancy of character power that depends on items. Again, we're going back to point 1, right? Point 1, back to items are inherently too powerful in PoE 2, right? Because everything is based off of items. As items. Anyways, I think armor is at a decent point right now in the game, to be honest. Like, if you stack enough elemental as whatever on armor, you're pretty much not taking damage, right? But in order for you to stack that much armor and those mods, your build is probably pretty gimp at that point. But I think the armor formula doesn't suffer as bad as the evasion formula at the start of the game, but it's still like way too, like that stat is way too good at the end of the game. Right. Can we both agree on these points? Because I feel like both of the ways they approached evasion and armor are kind of like the same, kind of like they're kind of in the same boat. So I feel like all of this stuff needs to be looked at. Like the evasion formula definitely needs to change at some point because it's honestly not too good right now in the game for the game, right? It's not very hard to build 95% evade in the game right now. It takes a while, but it's not undoable. And 95% evade is crazy in PoE 2. It's not like PoE 1 where you're mitigating melee hits. You're mitigating everything, man. Everything that's not a red attack. 95% evade is literally fucking crazy in PoE 2. But anyways, so that's where I feel like we're at in terms of defenses in the game. Overall, I feel like Warriors got something useful this league. They might have gotten something like a little too good, to be honest. I don't know. I always said this armor taken as elemental mod is like really, really toxic in the game. It's the same thing in PoE 1 where if you have enough of it, it's just way too good. And if you don't have enough of it, it's like not very good, right? And that was post-resistance, and this is pre-resistance, right? So I don't know what they're going to do. I personally like really dislike these mods because then you're just building invincible characters all over again. And what's the point of playing a game with visceral combat if you're just like, if you can't die? Defensive balances. I guess we can we can put movement speed in defensive balances. Should we put movement speed in defensive balances? Movement speed is a form of defense because currently you can basically run a circle around every boss in the game and none of them can hit you. As I much love movement speed in the game, movement speed makes all the bosses in the game currently Omega LOL. And I'm gonna be honest, these mods are pretty toxic. Like, letting you run at full speed while shooting is utterly insane. We're not even allowed to have this in PoE 1. Like, these mods are actually just like, I don't even know what to say about this because it is honestly just the most insane shit that like you're allowed to do in this game. I mean, you have to be truthful, right, about this game because it's absurd. It is honestly absurd. Like Roa is absurd. This mod is also absurd. Like, don't take the only fun thing, bro. Imagine if you were allowed to shoot in PoE 1, your Deadeye was allowed to shoot while running at full speed, and you could just go pa, 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 pa around the map. Like, that shit would be nerfed in like an instant. There's no way that shit will ever be allowed. They don't even allow auto bombers in PoE 1 to have like more than like freaking like 10k max hit without nerfing them to shit. And in PoE 2, we're allowed to run at full speed while just decimating everything. Allowing you to run at max speed while destroying monsters is fun, but that's the only way I can put it, right? It's fun, but I don't think they're gonna let us keep this shit. And to be honest, it's too crazy. It's really crazy, man. It's honestly crazy. On one side you have this, and on other side you have plus 1.5 seconds to attack in the same game. By the time your attack is done, the fucking Roa bow character is like freaking like 6 screens away, man, and they kill like 300 monsters. I just don't know. As much as I love my Deadeye this league, as much as I love playing Deadeye this league, I don't think it's going to be allowed to continue. I think all of those mods are going to get deleted from the game because it's like, it's way too powerful, man. It's way too good. Like, it's like beyond good. Or they're gonna like severely nerf the nodes. Okay, but you know what we didn't talk about? We didn't even talk about skill balance. We only talked about item balance and like what items do to the game currently, but I didn't really talk about skill balance. You know what's sad? As powerful as Deadeye is this league, bows are actually kind of a joke in terms of like skills. Like most of the bow skills, if you went down the list, they're all kind of shit, man. And like if they removed Rod from the game, bows are like literally like garbage tier in the game right now. Think about it. I mean, do you want to go through all the bow skills? I'll go through all the bow skills. Like, we'll go through them right now, dude. Poison Burst is playable in Poison. Then you have Escape Shot. At least they buffed it to 0.7 to total attack time and not 1.5. Then you have, you know, the good old Lightning Arrow, Lightning Rod combination. Snipe. I don't even see people play Snipe this league, especially with the Frenzy generation and the nerf to Frenzy skills. Ice Tip Arrows, I don't see any. Vine Arrows currently being played in a bug. Stormcaller Arrow is not being played. Barrage, I feel like that's not a bow skill though. I don't really like Toxic Growth. It takes way too much mana, and it's like okay at the start maybe. Freezing Salvo out of like day 1 builds, you don't really play it. Stormcaller Arrow is more of a crossbow skill to like to shock. Yeah. Gas Arrow, not currently played. Rain of Arrows. Oh my god. What the fuck is hit limit? What is hit limit? Why was hit limit even made? Like, there's so many skills in this game that is restricted by a hit limit. It's like, what do these skills do? This was like the worst idea they've ever made. It makes all the skills that have hit limit like absolute trash, man. I felt like hit limit is what they did after 0.1. And then they were like, oh my god, Thumb Gun's using freaking Rain of Arrows to one-shot all our bosses. Hit limit that shit. And then that's like the idea they came up with an emergency meeting and they just never looked at it again. Because what the fuck is hit limit? Bro, it makes all the skills with hit limit absolutely useless in the game, man. Like, all the skills with hit limit need to be, like, massively buffed or some shit like that, because all of them are just, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Oh, don't worry. No amount of, like, I don't think hit limit is really preventing any performance issues right now. Have you gone into Abyss lately? I think it's just lately designed. Like, I think that's the only way. That's another thing, right? In the game, that's just like, I don't even know what hit limit is. Okay, so Rain of Arrows, currently useless. Detonating Arrow, no one really uses. Ice Shot is played, but it's like okay. Like very, very mid-tier. Tornado Shot is played in Lightning Rod, but it's not really a skill. Shock Chain Arrow is not a thing. Spiral Volley is like giga nerfed. I don't even see people playing Spiral Volley these days. I would say it's a playable skill, but it's definitely not, I would consider something like good. And I don't see people playing Salvo either. I don't know, man. I think bows are kind of like really, really weak right now. With the exception of like one combo in the game. Most of them are just like very mid-tier builds. Compared to like crossbows, man, Explosive Grenade is one of the best skills in the game right now. Armor-piercing rounds can be played. Some people play permafrost rounds. Some people play high velocity. I've seen high velocity like one-shot bosses. Flash Grenade remains like one of the best skills in the game. Rapid Shot buffs one of the best skills in the game still, even though Rapid Shot is completely shit compared to whatever. Galvanic is one of the best skills in the game. Gas Grenade is literally played in Poison and in normal builds right now. Artillery Ballista, not much. We don't need to talk about Explosive Shot. Glacial Bolt and Voltaic, not as great. This line of skills, not that good. Shock Burst is still one of the best skills in the game. Hailstorm rounds is limit capped. Mortar Cannon was widely played this league. Plasma Blast is still playable. Cluster Grenade is more playable now. So compared to like bow skills, there's a lot of good crossbow skills, mainly at the top, to be honest. The bottom end for crossbow skills are like, it's like really, really whatever. But it's still better than a lot of the other stuff in the game. Do we even talk about casters and how good they are as a generic caster in the game right now? That is not Blood Mage. A lot of bow skills. All right. Can I just like, I don't want to go skill by skill, but like Poison's at least playable in the game, right? Poison's like a very mid-tier in the game right now. I feel like it's at least playable. Bleed is used in like Bleed is not bad either. Bleed is like okay too, right? It's like mid-tier. Can we agree on that? Ignite, I don't even see any Ignite builds like at all. Both Bleed and Poison are very, very mid. Okay. They're very playable builds in the game. You can have tons of fun with them. They're not unplayable. You can go kill monsters, kill bosses, but they're just not as really, really good as the really, really good builds, and they're not completely unplayable. That is definition of very mid build, right? Probably don't need to really touch Bleed or Poison very much because they're just probably exactly where they want the game to be. Spear, Bleed, Blood Mages are good. Do we not understand the hierarchy of PoE 2 right now? When I say the Bleed is a mid, do we need to explain this all over again? Okay, anyways, it's viable. It's fine. Don't need to be nerfed. Don't really need to be buffed. It's just fine the way it is, right? Let's just put it like that. Okay, anyways. The problem with that is if you nerf, like grenades are like good right now because they do enough damage to kill the boss like really, really fast, right? But when you nerf grenades, they're going to be extremely, extremely bad because grenades inherently have really high burst and really low DPS, right? That's what they need to like kind of understand. So if you nerf grenades, they're just going to become like the worst skills in the game. And if you leave them like currently as is in the game, they're just very, very good forever. You know when Jonathan said cooldowns are bad design? He was right in that retrospect, right? Because it's really, really hard to balance cooldown skills in the game, especially ones with multiple uses, because they either one-shot your boss or they don't. You have to wait for like 90 seconds of cooldown until they become useful again, and they just suck, right? It's really hard to balance stuff like that. Less burst with more cooldown recovery. You mean like lower all the grenades to 1 use per grenade and have cooldown be at 2 seconds? Is that what you mean? But then you might as well just have fucking like, you might as well just don't give them a cooldown, because then you're like, you're just gonna be spamming them, right? And then God forbid you equip Temporalis and it's just like dunk dunk dunk. Can you imagine having long fuse explosive grenade and then having a Temporalis with infinite grenades just go with like attack speed gloves just going dunk 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 dunk, like 5 grenades per second? Like, you don't want that. You're gonna do like 30 billion damage before like you know, like, yeah, previously, right? Previously. It is what it is. Hard stuff to balance in this game. Anyways, man, I feel like I've talked about all the issues in the game. I haven't talked about all the stuff that I love this patch. I love how you have to use your brain to craft items again. It made me feel like I'm playing a PoE game and not that dumbass fucking ruthless garbage that you gave me in 0.1 and 0.2. That version of the game was garbage. It was made for dumbasses.
Whoa,
and
calm down, Jamal.
Thank God we don't have to play that
line.
shit ever again. And like, honestly, like using my brain to craft an item feels good in the game. Having to design your own crafts and your own build feels good again. Like just sitting there just spamming like freaking like chaos orbs on your item, that is just bad, right? And I love how like it became like Path of Exile again. And I loved it. Act 4, whoever does graphics design in PoE, kudos to you. You basically have the best looking ARPG in the world right now. I saw a preview for Diablo 4, and Diablo 4 with 450 devs. Apparently, you know that Diablo 4 has 450 devs, and they're all like, they're all afraid of being laid off. I don't know how GGG does it, but yeah, PoE 2 looks 100 times better than that game in terms of like skill usage, just the way the game looks in general. Beautiful game, and kudos to that department for making the game that good. If the balance department was as good at their job as the graphics department, man, woo, this game would be a monster. I can't say boss design is amazing in the game right now because the balance is so bad. You like kind of like just one shot every single boss after like day 2 of a league. I don't even know what half the new bosses do in the game. I'm gonna be honest. They just like fucking fall over like instantly. So once they get that sorted out, maybe I'm like gonna do some like boss mechanics. Whoever executed the trade system and designed it, give that man the biggest raise, man. That it's so fluid. It is so good. Like, let's be honest. It is insane how good the new trade system is, right? It is so good. It is so good that I can't believe they didn't do this 3 years ago. Man. Next point. Thank you for giving us more movement speed so the game doesn't feel like a slog. More movement speed, big step up this league, right? Big step up. AKA Sprint too. Sprint was good. Sprint was a good addition. What else that I really love this league? I like lineage supports. I think they're fine to have drop-only supports in the game. And some of them are really, really fun. I didn't get to play with all the fun ones that I wanted to play with. Like Dodre's, that thing looks really, really good. I like that. Oh, I didn't do endgame stuff. Ooh, let's talk about endgame. Okay. Here's my point number 1, and you guys are gonna disagree with this. And people are gonna make fun of me for saying this. Abyss took away from visceral combat, which was the foundation of this game, or you should have just made PoE 1, 2.0, 4.0, right? Stuff like Abyss. That slow, methodical, Souls-like combat should exist in PoE 2. It shouldn't be all of PoE 2. In every mechanic in the game, whether it be Ritual, or Breach, or Abyss, it's just so many monsters on your screen. You have, like, where's the visceral combat? There are no visceral combat when there's fucking 500 monsters chasing at you. Bro, look at how fast this motherfucking ant is. How am I gonna go visceral when 5 of these motherfuckers come chasing me with their 150 movement speed on my freaking like shitty ass build? It's just like, you just have to kill them all, right? Like as fast as possible. There is no visceral combat when the game is like this. New league mechanics need to be made for the slower part of PoE to expand that part for the people who want it. That's my honest assessment, right? I love killing monsters, but there should be a place in the game for the people who want to dodge boss mechanics all day, right? And they want to like fight fucking monkey for 30 minutes at a time. There should be mechanics in the game for them. Right now, the whole entire game, it's clear speed, clear speed, clear speed. How fast can I clear a breach? How fast can I clear a ritual? How fast can I clear an abyss? And I don't think the slow methodical combo gameplay should be the whole game, but it should exist as a part of the game. That's what I always felt, right? Having people to combo white mobs is stupid. I don't like that. Like, if you're gonna make me go around comboing white mobs, I don't feel like that's very fun. Like, it's brain dead, and they don't drop no loot, and it's not engaging, and it's all it does is make me tired after like half of like a map of like comboing white mobs. But I do believe like having combos that do big damage and like doing them on bosses is very fun, and it should be a part of the game. But with the way the balance is in the game right now, you're never going to really achieve that slow methodical gameplay that you want. So how are you going to put it in the game, and how are you going to make it like engaging for people and make it feel like something that people want to do? That's my point number one, right? My point number two, tower overlaps are shit. Going around looking for tower overlaps is like, guys, be honest. Towers aren't even bad. It's the overlaps that are bad, correct? Like, if you got 6 things per tower and you just put them in and you just did the maps, it's not even that bad. It's the overlaps that are bad. Looking for double overlap is bad. Looking for triple overlap is like, towers should not be allowed to overlap. And if they didn't overlap, it would be like much better already. If single tower, X number of tablets, it's actually okay, I think. Okay, it's just like a single tower is just a sextant, right? It's just a sextant that you put in all your like juice in, and it's fine, right? Tablets need to have flavor, be able to make farming strats, and not have 7% quant lol so smart. That's point number one. And point number two, tablets need to be able to you need to be able to like make juicing strats from the tablets, right? Like, it can't just be like 7% quant the end. That's the end of the game. Unique tablets are good for that. Like, but it's for, there's like one unique tablet that you use. Bro, which unique tablet do you use right now in the game? The ritual one? What other one do you use? Oh, and Grand Project, sorry, I forgot. So I don't care if they're unique tablets or they're mods that you roll on normal tablets, but the game can't be like, let me juice 7 quant and that's the end, right? That's just, this is like a ruthless game. Like, this is dumb PoE 2. We don't want dumb PoE 2. Dumb PoE 2 is not fun for anyone, okay? I don't know who came up with the idea of like, we want dumb PoE 2, but dumb PoE 2 is just, it's stupid. Like, nobody wants that, right? So those are my main concerns over the endgame right now. I think that's the foundation for an ARPG. Like I want to fight their bosses. I want to do mechanics, because mechanics are like that's the game, right? You don't just play the game, just go one shot everything. That's not fun for everyone either. I mean, maybe like at the very end when you have like massive amount of gear, you're one shotting the bosses and that's cool. But bosses literally die like in like 2 seconds on day 2, right? That's not good, right? That's a balance issue, but I feel like that takes away a lot away from the end game of PoE 2, where it's just, I don't know, it's basically a part of the game that's non-existent right now. Anyways, that's how I feel about this patch, and honestly, overall, 8 out of 10 League for me. Not enough staying power yet, but fun for a few weeks. That's my overall review of this league. Was it a good review, guys? I think it was a good review, right?
Meow.
He's a baby. Ooh, too big.